Norman Percival Rockwell was born in New York City on February 3rd, 1894. Rockwell knew at the age of 14 that he wanted to be an artist and began taking classes at the New School of Art. By the age of 16, Rockwell was so focused on pursuing art that he dropped out of high school and enrolled at the National Academy of Design. He later transferred to the Art Students League in New York. Upon graduating, Rockwell found immediate work as an illustrator for Boys Life magazine. By 1916, a 22-year-old Rockwell, newly married to his first wife, Irene O'Connor, had painted his first cover for the Saturday Evening Post, the beginning of a 47-year relationship with the iconic American magazine. In all, Rockwell painted 321 covers for the Post. He also worked for other magazines, including Look, which in 1969 featured a Rockwell cover depicting the imprint of Neil Armstrong's left foot on the surface of the moon after the successful moon landing. In 1920, the Boy Scouts of America featured a Rockwell painting in its calendar. Rockwell continued to paint for the Boy Scouts for the rest of his life. The 1930s and 40s proved to be the most fruitful period for Rockwell. In 1930, he married Mary Barstow, a school teacher, and they had 3 sons. The Rockwells relocated to Arlington, Vermont in 1939, and a new way of life that he witnessed offered the perfect material for the artist to draw from. Rockwell's success stemmed to a large degree from his careful perception of everyday American scenes, the warmth of small-town life in particular. Often what he depicted was treated with charm and a sense of humor. Some critics dismissed him for not having real artistic merit, but Rockwell's inspiration was beyond the critics. Maybe as I grew up and found the world wasn't the perfect place I had thought it to be, I unconsciously decided that if it wasn't an ideal world, it should be, and so painted the only ideal aspects of it, he once said. In 1943, inspired by President Franklin D. Roosevelt, he painted the 4 freedoms: freedom of speech, freedom of worship, freedom from want, and freedom from fear. The paintings appeared on the cover of the Saturday Evening Post and proved incredibly popular. The paintings also toured the United States and raised in excess of $130 million towards the war effort. In 1953, the Rockwells moved to Stockbridge, Massachusetts, where Norman would spend the rest of his life. Following Mary's death in 1959, Rockwell married for a 3rd time to Molly Punderson, a retired teacher. With Molly's encouragement, Rockwell ended his relationship with the Post and began doing covers for Look. His focus also changed as he turned more of his attention to the social issues facing the country. Much of the work centered on themes concerning poverty, race, and the Vietnam War. One such socially charged piece, titled "The Problem We All Live With," appeared on the cover of Look on January 14th, 1964. Inspired by a 6-year-old Ruby Bridges' integration of New Orleans' William Frantz Public School in 1960, the work shows a small African-American girl flanked by U.S. Marshals as she walks past a wall bearing marks of smashed produce and a scrawled racial epitaph. The Problem We All Live With generated hate mail for the artist, known for depicting romanticized visions of American life, but it became one of the most important pieces of his career. It was the first painting acquired by the Norman Rockwell Museum in 1975 and later hung in the White House during President Barack Obama's first term. His work became the centerpiece of what is now called the Norman Rockwell Museum in Stockbridge. In 1977, 1 year before his death, Rockwell was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom by President Gerald Ford. Norman Rockwell died at his home in Stockbridge, Massachusetts on November 8, 1978.